This is how you deal with your partner's timeout in your relationship. Hello, my name is Andre Grande and I'm a psychotherapist operating out of Copenhagen, Denmark. And today I'll be talking about unconscious swings, timeouts, boundaries, and self-love. It's an open secret in this world that practically all people disappears from time to time into their unconscious patterns. In order to have a successful relationship with your partner, you therefore have to accept this basic premise and start to develop coping strategies to deal with your partner's timeout. When I use the word timeout, I point to swings or frequencies in human beings' ability to remain awake and present in the relationship. From time to time, everyone experiences that there can be powerful energy fields can come from the past, and those could be fear-based, anger-based, grief-based, and so on, which makes your partner inability for a brief period of time to be an equal partner in the relationship. You become, so to speak, time-outed from the love you have for your partner, because powerful energy fields from the past comes up and blocks the connection you have with your partner. So the first thing today that I want to examine is how long the partner is in timeout mode. And we can have 3 different time periods to operate with today. A short timeout, an intermediate timeout, and a long timeout. So let's start with the short one first. Your partner is timeouted in short periods which last minutes or hours. If you have a partner that has already done a lot of inner work and is therefore able to catch and come back from his unconscious patterns within relatively short amount of time, then the relationship is already far ahead and secured for the future. The next step in the development could be that the partner starts to notice in the now when he or she is entering into a new powerful energy field from the past. Because if your partner is able to see it happen in real time, it follows that the partner will be able to say, "Honey, I can feel that I'm coming into an unconscious pattern. I don't know how long it would take, but now you know why the energy is shifting around me." 2. The partner is time out in intermediate period, which lasts days or weeks. If you have a partner that disappears in intermediate periods of days or weeks, then self-love and self-care starts to become a necessity, because it is exhausting when one's partner has been caught in a timeout for longer periods of time. Furthermore, it's important to be able to set good personal boundaries in this period. And you can use it as a good excuse to really start taking care of yourself. To build a complete repertoire of actions which stem from self-love that you can do at the same time as you do your inner work and observe your own triggers once your partner is in timeout mode. This repertoire of loving actions could be taking a walk in the forest. It could be to meditate more than you do. It could be to read a good book, to be together with good friends that doesn't judge you when you have a crisis in your relationship, to go to therapy, etc. You know what works for you. The next step of development is to find the willingness to really get started with your own trauma work as a couple in the relationship. To start to pull out the energy of those unconscious timeout patterns in such a way that when they happen for a short amount of time and are less intense. Notice here that the point is not to overcome all unconscious patterns, but instead be able to see them when they happen. Because if you can see them when they happen, it follows that you can now bring your partner into your own unconsciousness instead of playing it out as a power struggle between the two of you. Because if you know when you are unconscious, you already have, so to speak, 1 foot out of unconsciousness. 3. Your partner timeouts for long periods of time which last either months, years, or indefinitely. If you have a partner which is gone for long periods of time, or maybe your partner has never actually been present in the relationship, then all of a sudden you're confronted with a choice. But before you're confronted with the choice, it's a good idea to ask yourself 2 questions that you can examine in individual therapy. The first question is, does my partner actually want this relationship? Even if the answer is just a little yes, then there's still hope for the relationship that you can start working towards getting a better one. If the answer is a definite no, then the next question comes. How can it be that I always attract partners that really doesn't want me or want this relationship? And then the choice comes. Do I really want to be in a loveless relationship for the rest of my life? If you have already opened up for a lot of self-love and self-care in your system, then the answer is probably no. From there, you can go to trauma therapy and individual therapy for many years until you have worked yourself to a point where you'll be able to attract a partner which actually wants you, equality in the boring and loving relationship. So having examined now for how long the partner is timeout, the next thing I will turn to today is to examine how your partner is timeouted. Because there are 3 ways in which a partner can take one's own timeout or be timeouted. The first way a partner can be timeouted is by disappearing. To have a partner that takes his time out by disappearing from the relationship can entail disappearing either mentally, emotionally, or literally physically. And it could happen, some examples of how it can happen is to by getting the cold shoulder of your partner. Your partner does not want to share what's going on with them. It could be that your partner is always going for long trips in the car, is burying himself or herself in their work, or maybe are taking long nights out of town with the friends, etc. It can happen in a lot of ways. If you have a disappearing partner, the first thing you have to do is to accept that the disappearance act is a very old and deep way of handling the world. In your partner's childhood, there wasn't any room for the partner. And then they learned that self-isolation was the only way of saving and protecting one's own self. If you can accept your partner's periodically disappearance, then there is a possibility that the partner, for the first time in his or her life, can feel seen in his survival patterns. And from there, it's possible to start transforming the patterns if the partner wants to. If you attempt to control or blame your partner for doing this disappearance act, they will most likely respond by just disappearing for longer periods of time. Because it will feel like for them that you are trying to take away the deepest survival strategy, and it will just result in an intensification of the power struggle. Only through acceptance is possible for transformation in such a way that the partner, at long last, after a long period of work, maybe don't have to disappear anymore. The second way one's partner can take one's time out is by becoming invasive or controlling. To have a partner which is time outed in the relationship by becoming invasive and controlling can, for instance, entail using guilt or shame to control the emotions of the partner, to call the partner things, to gaslight, to check the partner's telephone, to demean one's partner in the public life, or to generally just don't respect the personal boundaries of one's partner. The invasive controlling way of being time outed from the relationship is exactly the opposite of doing the disappearance in the relationship. Instead of moving further away from your partner, as we saw with the disappearance act, in the invasive controlling timeout, your partner is moving too close to you and does not respect your personal space. Again, it's a survival mechanism from childhood, because your partner didn't learn in childhood. The only way that your partner could gain some sense of control and security in the relationship was by controlling other people. If you have an invasive controlling partner, you have a wonderful opportunity to start practicing setting personal boundaries. In other words, to push your partner gently out of your personal space is one of the deepest forms of self-care and self-love that you can practice. Don't disappear from your invasive controlling partner. It would only increase their attempt at invasiveness and controlness. Because the disappearance act will make your partner even more insecure in themselves than they were before. Instead of disappearing, put up good boundaries where you show that you are there, but you are not willing to compromise with yourself for your partner's fault or for the relationship. If your invasive controlling partner is not completely lost to mental illness, sooner or later they will start to respect you for having the courage and strength to take care of yourself in the relationship. And as a positive consequence, they will start to relax more, and maybe even take better care of themselves by following your lead. If your invasive controlling partner at no point wants to respect your boundaries and makes no attempt at working towards it, unfortunately, there's not a lot of a relationship left. Never compromise your utmost inner holy space for the sake of the relationship. The third and last way a partner can be time outed is by cheating. To have a partner that takes one's time out in the relationship by cheating entails that the partner is dancing a dance between going too close to you and after that going too far away from you. To cheat in a relationship can entail that you promise things that you can't keep, that you actually cheat, literally cheat, that you say that everything is fine when it obviously isn't, and that you pretend that everything is okay, but you later come with a surprise attack because it really wasn't. It can be difficult to dance with a cheating partner because you have to do two things at once. You have to accept the dance, but at the same time you have to resist it. There can be bitterness in you after your partner has broken your trust to them time and time again, and have not respected the trust that you put in them. In the case of severe betrayal, like it happens with literal cheating, you have to afterwards feel that your partner actually is showing sorrow, and that your partner actually wants to work with the betrayal patterns. Remember here that appearance is not the same as essence. If you conclude that there is not real willingness to step out of the cheating pattern from your partner's side, then there isn't a lot of relationship left. Do not allow yourself to be cheated over and over and over and over again until you don't have any more trust for anything anymore. Keep your space while your partner dances his cheating dance, and show that you're still there at the other side of your partner's cheating timeout. And remember this old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So now we have examined the second part, which was how your partner gets timeout. So now we'll turn to the third and last part of this video today, and maybe even the most important one, and that is to examine what happens in myself when my partner takes a timeout. What normally happens in the relationship when one's partner takes a timeout is that then I also take a timeout in the relationship. And in that way, all of a sudden, we have gone from being two equal partners, awake and present, to being trapped in our individual timeouts. And then the whole relationship becomes time-outed. The good news here is that it only requires one partner to remain in the relationship while the other one takes a timeout in order for the relationship to remain intact. In this way, we can hold space for each other when the partner takes a timeout. In this way, so to speak, we serve each other in the name of love. But first, you have to do your own trauma work. And here it's about, in a very loving way, starting to be honest with yourself. How long does my timeout lasts in my relationship? Am I the type that disappears, invades, or cheats? How can I get closer to catch myself when I have my unconscious mood swings? Am I too invested in this wonderful juice of the drama of the power struggle? Am I willing to look at myself and my relationship and start to transform it so it becomes more like the boring relationship? If you succeed in staying in the relationship while your partner takes his time out, your partner will feel the love really start to stream from you. And the relationship will have a possibility of getting into another context, which is more about connection, forgiveness, and transformative love. Then there's a possibility that you can grow up together. In couples therapy, I help couples spot and observe when and how they are being taken by strong energy fields from the past and being time-outed from their relationship. From there, I help them in a very compassionate way to start the work, to integrate, work through, and train their own ability to love themselves. The more the couple of the relationship work with their timeouts, the more energy will be liberated and redirected back into the relationship. And you can become more loving and more loving towards each other, to get into the way of getting to the boring relationship.